What is up guys, KevinJSI here back with a brand new video, and today I'm going to be talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, the first video I did as KevinJSI was a review of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I loved pretty much everything about that game. If you saw the video, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I can't really say the same. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down different aspects of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and my thoughts, and I'm going to try my best not to compare it to Xenoblade 1 too much, but it's bound to happen. It is a sequel. I think we should just get started. Right off the bat, this is pretty much the biggest problem most people have with this game, and I understand I have this problem with this game also, and that's the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is bad, to say the least. But I feel like as I was planning out this video, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Now, let me explain. Rex, he cannot show emotion. His voice actor was unable to show any sort of emotion without sounding ridiculous. Couldn't scream, couldn't cry, couldn't laugh. It just did not work. Rex needed a different voice actor, in my opinion. In regular conversation though, Rex was fine. I didn't have any problems with Rex when he was in regular conversation. But the fact that he couldn't show any emotion, and I know I already said that I wasn't going to compare it to Xenoblade 1, but this is pretty much the perfect example to do this. If you compare Shulk's voice actor to Rex's voice actor, it's just the biggest downgrade possible. You have one of the greatest voice acting performances of all time with Shulk, and then one of the most ridiculous voice acting performances of all time with Rex. Rex is easily the biggest voice acting issue in this game, and because he is the protagonist, that's why voice acting in this game gets such a horrible rep. Pyra and Mythra's voice actor was very neutral. While Rex tried to show emotion and failed miserably, Pyra and Mythra just didn't even attempt to show emotion. Because they didn't show any emotion, I didn't really have like any big, their voices weren't annoying or anything. It's just no feelings either way for the voice. But once you get past those two characters, I would say that everyone else was okay or even great. Nia's voice acting at the beginning of the game was pretty annoying. Her accent, I'm not gonna lie, annoyed me, but after a little bit, you know, you get used to it, and her voice actor did pretty well, especially in the emotional scenes. Other characters that I thought actually did great with their voice acting. Morag, I thought Morag's voice actor was very good. Zeke's voice actor, amazing. And the best voice actor in the game, I thought, was Poppy. Poppy's voice actor. For some reason, the robot was able to show more emotion than the protagonist. Poppy was probably the only character in the game who was able to show an immense amount of emotion, and the people playing the game actually benefited from hearing her, rather than hearing Rex and just laughing. Now that we got the voice acting out of the way, because we know that that's the biggest issue with this game, next I'm going to talk about character design, which again is probably the second biggest issue in this game. The character designs in this game are, to put simply, absolutely ridiculous. Rex, what the heck is Rex wearing? What does he have on his freaking knees? Like, it doesn't look comfortable, it doesn't look practical, it doesn't... what? Again, Pyra's outfit, like, what the heck is she wearing? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, I just feel like they just allowed children to design these characters. It boggled my mind how those designs made it past, like, a development phase. I just don't understand. And let's be honest, there was way too much fan service with these character designs. Okay, now we got voice acting, character design out of the way. I think we have to talk about something positive, and that is the environment and world building in this game. The environment in this game is amazing, just like Xenoblade 1. The worlds just feel so immersive, each world has different theming, and it's just done so well. There really isn't too much to say, especially because it's all positive with the environment. And to go off of the environment, let's talk about the music, which was easily the greatest highlight of this game. The music was outstanding. There are no negatives I can give with the music for this game. In fact, the music saved a lot of this game. The songs like Counterattack and Drifting Soul just made those cutscenes that much more emotional, and even saved some of these cutscenes from the cringy voice acting. Like, at least in these cutscenes where Rex had to scream, there was a fire battle theme going on in the background that saved the cutscene. And again, the music in the different environments definitely helped, definitely made the environments that much better, especially having the different day and night themes. I mean, just talking about one specifically that's done, I think, great. More Ardain, the very industrial world that has like this really aggressive and exciting day theme, but then at night it's very mellow and very calming, and it's just done so well. I could go on and on about how great the music is in this game, but I'm not going to, because there's still more to talk about. And now the next thing to talk about after. I already gave this game too much praise with the music and the environment. We gotta go back to the negatives, and that's navigation. How the heck was I supposed to find anything in this game? I have no idea how I found anything in this game. The navigation was horrible. Horrible. The maps felt useless. I felt like the maps didn't do anything for me. And the only way to like display the map usefully on the screen was for it to cover the entire screen. Like, you could have like the little map thing in the corner, but it was way too small to see anything. Or you could have the map cover the entire screen and then you can't see anything that's going on in front of you. Like, the map and the navigation were just not great. Thank goodness they fixed it in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, that's all I gotta say. It's not only navigating the map, but navigating the menu that was ridiculous. There were just way too many different things to navigate, too many tabs that were just, like, I think the main screen had like 8 different tabs to choose from, and then within those tabs they're just way too complicated. Like, it just needed to be simplified. The menu needed to be simplified. But again, now we're talking about the menu. I think this is a good way to sort of transition into the combat, which is why the menu has so many issues. The combat, or I guess not really, this is more outside before combat, preparing for battle, so I guess gameplay as a whole. The menu is just horrible, as I've been saying, but the reason it's horrible is because there is just way too much going on before battle. You do not need that many modifications before, like, for any sort of RPG. They're just unnecessary. It could have been simplified. I wrote down all the so many different things you can modify. You can change like the 50 different blades you have. You can change every weapon using chips. There are gems that you can apply to every character. Not just every character, but every blade that you can give gems to. There are pouch items for each party member, and then there's accessories for each party member. And then there's Poppy, who is a completely different story. Like, it was fine, but it just felt unnecessary. Like, I did not need that much customizability. I did not need it. Some customizability, yes, we like that in RPGs, but this was just way too much, that it just came to a point where, like, some things I just didn't even bother, like, changing. With the blades, basically, I just found, like, 3 blades for each character, and I just stuck with them the entire game, because modifying them, modifying the gems, modifying the, like, different accessories for each character is just way too complicated to try and find an optimal party. With the blades, like, I really just use the same ones, like, the entire game. The weapon modifiers, with the chips, I basically just used whichever one gave me the best stats. Like, it wasn't, that's all I did. the gems were pretty much the same thing from the first Xenoblade Chronicles, but while I think that the gems were great in the first Xenoblade Chronicles because you could apply them to weapons, you could apply them to the clothing, and they were like really the only major customization aspect of the game, this one, it was just felt like overshadowed by so many other things around it, and the fact that you could only apply 1 or 2 gems to each blade, it just kind of annoyed me. Pouch items, which I didn't even use. Like, I just, the only times I ever used pouch items were to upgrade the affinity charts with the blades. That was the only time I ever used the pouch items. Again, just too much to think about. Like, overall, it was just way too much. Like, I did not need that much customizability for this game. Like, it was just unnecessary. But now let's shift from outside of battle, and then let's shift into actual combat. I thought the combat was great. I mean, I loved Xenoblade 1's combat, so of course I was going to love the second one. At the beginning of the game, it did feel very stagnant, like I wasn't really doing anything. But it definitely changed as the game went on, especially because they decided to tell us everything like after 30 hours into the game. You couldn't even break or topple. They didn't even tell us about breaking and toppling until like 30 hours into the game, which was like ridiculous. We didn't learn all the combat until so late, which that was an issue because it made like the first like quarter of the game very tedious and kind of boring combat-wise, because I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know. They didn't explain it to us until later. So at the beginning of the game, yes, combat was boring, but it definitely did improve. I did for sure like the elemental like orbs and the elemental aspect of the game, like how you wanted to get these orbs around the enemies, and then you could use a chain attack to take them off. And actually, I think this is one thing that the game improved upon from the first one, was chain attacks, because in the first one, chain attacks were really only like based on timing. That was really it. But in this game, like the chain attacks, you actually had to like prepare before the chain attack so that you could make the most out of it by making sure you apply those like elemental orbs around each enemy. Yeah, combat, it was great. Towards the end of the game, it definitely picked up. Beginning of the game, very, very stagnant, but towards the end, I did enjoy it. Now, we are reaching the biggest thing with this game, and the biggest thing in most RPGs, the story. Now, the story was I don't know. I'm still debating how I feel about the story right now, as I'm making this review. For lack of a better word, the story was way too anime, like way too tropey, like it took away from the serious moments, because all I could think in the back of my head were those ridiculous moments that just didn't really fit into the overall theming of the game. I get that they were going for like a lighter approach compared to Xenoblade 1, but it just took away from the story. If I look past those parts, the story was good. It was good. It came together very nicely at the end, if that makes any sense. Like, it had a very neat ending. I did think that the characters grew very well. I thought the character growth was there, and especially with certain characters like Poppy, for example. I thought her character growth was great. Mithra's character growth was great. Rex took some time to get there, but he did grow as a character. And overall, I mean, the story was nothing special, but at the end, it definitely did get serious. It definitely was emotional. And it was cool how they tied in certain elements from Xenoblade 1 into Xenoblade 2 to sort of explain the connection, which I thought was great, and kind of sad that the best part of the story of Xenoblade 2 was Xenoblade 1. Although I have so many negative things to say about this game, for some reason I enjoyed the heck out of it. I don't know why. From you listening to me talk about this game, you would think that I hated it overall as a whole. Like, I did not like it. But I would even go as far as saying that I loved this game, which I'm talking about now, like, you heard how many negatives I had about this game. But I just don't, even I don't understand why I liked this game so much. So if I had to give it a number ranking, I'm giving Xenoblade Chronicles 2 like a 7.5 out of 10. But if I'm doing a personal ranking of this game compared to like other games I've played, this is like a top 20 game that I've played, which doesn't make any sense because I think almost every other game that I put in my top 20 is like a 10 or a 9 out of 10. But for some reason, this 7.5 out of 10 game that I've played has made it into like the top 20 games that I've enjoyed, which again, I can't explain. Even I don't understand it yet, to be honest. Maybe over time I'll understand why I enjoyed this game so much while having so many problems with it. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed my take of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. If you guys want to see more of these review type videos compared to challenges or whatnot that I've done before, please be sure to comment down below, and comment below any other games that you would like me to talk about. And yeah, that's it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, baby. KevinJSI out. Peace.